This episode is sponsored by Property Filter. Find great deals faster.
Hello and welcome to the Financial Freedom Podcast, sponsored by us at Property Portfolio Building. This podcast is designed by real people on their journey to achieving financial freedom, and we'll focus on people who've either already attained it, who are joining us on that journey, or maybe a specialist topic that can help you build your technical knowledge to achieving and maintaining that financial freedom. We hope you enjoy it.
Right, welcome back to the Financial Freedom Podcast. Today is one of our 6-round episodes where we'll be interviewing someone who achieved their financial freedom on their journey to achieving financial freedom. So today we've got Sam Bastow. He's a property developer and property investor based in the West Midlands. He focuses on planning uplifts, new build projects, commercial residential conversions, and general refurbishment projects. His projects are funded by a mix of his own cash, bank and private investor finance, and he sources his deals through direct-to-vendor campaigns and through relationships with agents as well. So Sam, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tim. Really looking forward to it.
Good stuff, good stuff. So just to start with, I just want to hear just a little bit about your story, a bit of your background, family, schooling, stuff like that for our listeners so they can get to know you.
Yeah, so I live in a town called Evesham in Worcestershire, and I've always lived there. It's the home of world-class asparagus. It's
Nice.
top-notch. And it's not a bad place to live at all. Growing up through the conventional school system.
Yeah.
And I liked school, but it wasn't quite for me. I've always been quite entrepreneurial. So through school, I was buying and selling things.
Yeah.
And the main thing, my main business while I was in school, was what I called Bastow's baguettes.
Nice.
So I would go to the cash and carry,
Yeah.
buy ingredients like the chicken, the sauces, and basically create baguettes to take to school the next day and sell them. So chicken tikka.
What, undercutting the cafeteria, the canteen and stuff like that, or?
They were about the same price, but the quality was far better.
Nice.
So yeah, I didn't need to undersell myself. Chicken tikka, lettuce and mint sauce was the biggest seller.
Good, yeah.
It was beautiful. And that then went into selling bags of sweets and cans of pop.
Yeah.
And I was making like 200 quid a week when I was at school, profit. So I was
Good money at school, isn't it?
I was a baller at school. If only it was that easy now.
Yeah.
And then went through school. Really wanted to be a dentist. And I think because I didn't really get on with school as I got older, completely failed my A-levels. I thought...
Yeah, because the path to dentistry is sort of academic smarts in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. And I've got the academic ability, but it just wasn't the right environment for me, I believe. And yeah, you needed something like 3 A's at A-level. I did physics, chemistry, biology, and PE. The only one I passed was PE, got a C. Yeah. And the others were like a U and a E or something. So not great, not enough. And I thought, what should I do? Well, I then went into selling bricks.
Right, yeah.
So started work for a brick manufacturer at 18, straight out of
The brick sales basically going around selling. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was office based. Started off as a trainee sales coordinator and then sort of worked my way up through that to become a sales manager.
And what year is this at the moment?
So 2010 was my first year of work.
Yeah.
So getting on for 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I tend to get bored very easily.
Yeah.
So I did the selling bricks between 2010 and 2012. And then I went to your homeland for a year.
All right.
Yeah. Went to Australia for a working holiday.
Whereabouts?
All up and down the East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But predominantly lived and worked in Sydney and Melbourne.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
So I'd quite happily live in Sydney, quite happily live in Melbourne. But it's just too far away.
It's a long way, yeah. It's a long distance. And the cities are quite isolated as well, aren't they? Because I say it to people all the time, that because I'm from Adelaide, next city east is Melbourne, 10-hour drive. Next city west is Perth. I think it's like a 3-day drive or something, or quite a decent plane trip. So, the cities are quite isolated as well.
Yeah, because you think in this country, I mean, it's taken me 2.5 hours to get here today.
Yeah.
People would see that as a long drive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in Australia, that's nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my grandparents used to live 2.5 hour drive away in the country,
Yeah, and I suppose it was a nice trip out.
Good experience though, isn't it?
Yeah.
To get out of your comfort zone, live somewhere else, isn't it, regardless, yeah?
Yeah, I had to do it at that moment in time. I just had to get out and experience something different, but kept in touch with the guys that employed me and went back because I really enjoy that job.
Yeah.
It's good. And then decided I wanted to do something more, look
Yeah.
more to the future, have my own destiny in my own hands.
Yeah.
And that's when I started thinking about property. So building, converting, refurbing properties to either keep or sell.
Yeah.
And that started in 2018.
And when you say start thinking about it, you started like educating yourself in sort of property and development and investing and things like that, or what kicked it off, do you think?
So I've always, and I know I'll get some stick for this, I've always loved Homes Under the Hammer. I used to watch it during the school holidays. I used to set my alarm to make sure I could watch it. And that's what gave me the bug. So that was a very early education for me.
Yeah.
And I sort of just went into it with my father. He knew a little bit, I knew a little bit, and we just made the best of it what we could.
Yeah.
Learned a lot along the way. And since then, I've educated myself and realised probably what we did initially wasn't the best way or the most efficient or cost-effective way. But you've got to make those mistakes, I think, in order
You do
to...
sometimes, yeah. I have to say with Homes Under the Hammer, like I did used to like it until I realised that they really cut out quite a few, when they do the summary and they're like, I bought for X, build costs were that and the profit's that. And I'm like, hang on, where's the legal fees? Where's the stamp duty? Where's the finance costs? Where's the professional fees? Blah, 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 blah. And I used to get out appraisals and like reassess it. I'm like, right, they said it was 40 grand profit. I'm calculating 7,500 profit.
Yeah, totally. And it does it. Obviously, it's a TV show. And
It's for entertainment. Yeah, exactly.
But you do look at it from a professional analytical head and go, hang on, these numbers just do not work.
Yeah.
And they've taken 18 months to have a profit that makes 20, to have a project that makes £20,000.
That's what I used to find as well as a project manager. That and like maybe like grand designs or something, I'd watch it and they'd go like at the end and they'd be like, it's, went a little bit over budget. It was about 400 grand over budget. I'm like, fucking hell, as a project manager, if I was 400 grand over budget, I'm losing my job type thing. And then they're like, and you were about 12 months over the original program time frame. I'm like, that's like a common thing, isn't it, on those sort of shows? And it shows how difficult it is to do those sort of projects well, isn't it, and successfully, I think.
Yeah, it's a tough ask. And every grand designs program, they're going to run out of money.
Yeah.
You know they're going to run over time. Yeah. And there's probably going to be a child born.
Yes.
And or a divorce because it's taken that long.
Yeah, it does put a lot of pressure on, doesn't it? Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, good stuff. So moving forward then. So on this show, Financial Freedom Podcast, we just like understanding what everyone's definition or what financial freedom is to them. So I'd like to know that. And then also where do you think you are on that journey at the moment?
So financial freedom to me, it basically means being able to do what you want when you want within reason.
Yeah.
I'd love to go and buy a jet today.
Yeah.
But that's quite unrealistic, I believe. But being able to decide, I don't fancy like working today.
Yeah.
Being able to pay that unexpected bill, being able to drop everything and say, come on, darling, we're off to Mallorca tomorrow.
Yeah. So not really having to stress or worry about money and expenses.
Yeah.
And having that time and flexibility to be able to do what you want, you think?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think we get too hung up on trying to say, I need to earn X amount per month, or I need to have this unrealistic Instagram filtered goal. Whereas in reality, that happens for very few people. And if we were more realistic and think, actually, I'm really happy with my life. I've got enough to do what I want to do. I'm in the top X% in the world.
That gives you that freedom, doesn't it? And I think the other thing with the Instagram world like that, maybe a lot of those people have real material and life creep that like they might be earning a lot of money, but then they're buying those jets or whatever and those cars and things like that. And then, if they're spending as much as they're making, they don't have the same amount of freedom as someone that's living within their means and actually has the freedom to do what they want because their costs aren't too high as well. It's probably another way to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. I drive a 10-year-old car.
Yeah.
It's all paid for. It's a nice enough motor. That does me. It's practical for chucking materials in the back. And I live in a really cheap, affordable house. So when Liz Truss decided to say what she said and did what she did, and the mortgage rates skyrocketed, I was okay with that because even though my mortgage went up 73%, I didn't notice it leaving the bank before.
Yeah.
So for it to almost double, it didn't really matter.
Very, very affordable in your first place is what you're saying. Yeah, very good definition. I think a lot of the common themes we get in the show is that sort of time and location sort of freedom as well. So have you read the book, The Millionaire Next Door?
No.
Nice.
I started listening to it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get on with the narrator.
Right. I read that a couple of years ago, and it was back to your point about the car actually, is they actually list in the book the most commonly driven car type and age. Don't quote me exactly if you're going to read that book, but it's like the average millionaires in America, their cars were like Fords, Toyotas, and bits and pieces like that. And the average age was like 2 or 3 years or something like that. So actually the sign of wealth a lot of the time is the opposite of what you think. Unless you're like, in the super rich and you can obviously buy the Lamborghinis or whatever quite easily. The general millionaires don't buy expensive cars, and that's how they've got to that position in essence. So yeah, what you say is 100% right. If you read that book, it's a good book to read just to understand the psyche of and going against the grain of what you think a millionaire actually does. Right. So where would you say you're on? Like, where are you on that journey? Have you got a specific? And I know you said it's not necessarily a monetary goal or anything like that, but where do you feel you've achieved that goal, or you've got a bit more to do to get to that freedom goal?
Tough one.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on the way there.
Yeah.
For my own personal ambitions.
Yeah.
A lot of people might say, "Oh, you're already there, Sam." Yeah, I'm not.
It's hard, isn't it? Because sometimes you get there and you go, actually, I want to do this or I want to do that. And there's like the next thing and the next thing, isn't it? So, yeah. And so the next question is like, what strategies are you using to achieve these, your financial freedom goals? Obviously, we talked about property and things like that, but can you tell us specifically what you're getting involved in and what you're doing?
Yeah. So property wise, bit of a Swiss Army knife, really. Know a lot about a lot. So focus on new build development, planning uplift opportunities, commercial to resi conversions, refurbishments, and we either sell them or keep them in the portfolio. And alongside that, put money into a stocks and shares ISA, which due to Donald Trump's tariffs, has absolutely tanked over the last few days.
And a good time to buy though, isn't it? Because like the last few days I've because I do similar, but I've just increased it, the last week or so, and just chucked a bit of extra in. Not saying I know that it's like at the bottom or whatever, and it may not be, but generally if there's a dip, you've got to go against the psyche of thinking, oh shit, I shouldn't be buying, but that's when you buy, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to keep going and put as much as you can in when you see it falling. Obviously not financial advice. Like Warren Buffett said, be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I heard Warren Buffett say is like, if you're investing in those sort of stocks and shares, like index funds or whatever, it's just keep buying. I think he said through thick and thin, and especially through thin.
Yeah, and that really resonates for me because I'm still keeping my direct debit going in.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's going up, going down.
Yeah.
Still going in every month.
Yeah.
So yeah, financially it's those property strategies with some shares. And that's it really. But sort of spread.
Sounds good. So the other thing we like to ask on this show is we like to talk about routines and like generally day to day what our guests do and like what sort of routines they have or don't have sometimes. So do you want to tell us what a typical sort of day looks like for you?
Typical day for me, I would normally start working at about 7 in the morning, and that would be where I put my sort of high focused tasks. So do a couple of 3 hours of really high sort of thinking work, and then move into sort of through the day into less brain powered stuff.
So you find you perform best in the morning, you'd say?
Yeah, and I would tend to have meetings if I'm in control of when they are in the afternoon. So that you can sort of just taper off towards the end of the day, because after lunchtime, I think I get that sort of post-lunch slump.
Absolutely.
You do struggle to keep the high energy.
So hit the hard tasks in the morning, do the key things that need to get done and the focus, like you said. And then after lunch, you can, because I do it as well, actually. It's like if I've calls with people or meetings or whatever, that I think, like you said, the afternoon is a really good time for that, because you can just sort of chat and do that without having to think too much.
Yeah. Do your important stuff first, and then that's done, and you can take it a bit easier in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But I do also, alongside the property stuff, I do still work within the brick industry.
Yeah.
I think that's important to say, that if you go into business or start a business, you don't have to go all in.
No.
If you enjoy doing what you're doing, you can do more of the business, but also keep your finger in.
Yeah, and also it's like
job.
sometimes it's good just to build up a side hustle as well.
Mhm.
I mean, I had probably say 3 or 4 years where I was doing my own investments and developments as a complete side hustle while working full time. The challenge, I think, sometimes, isn't it, is like, what time do you dedicate it, how much, and all those sort of things. But if you can do, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours a day on that side hustle, if it's property, while you're working, and just continually keep doing that, it's always going to push you forward, isn't it?
Yeah. So for me, I really struggled to allocate the time I wanted to do for the business alongside a full-time job. So,
which is a common challenge for, especially for a lot of our listeners as well.
Yeah.
It's a very common challenge.
And it's you've got to be really disciplined with your time. And there's a great book by Brian Tracy called Master Your Time, and that's what I tend to look to when I'm struggling with my time, and try to work like he lays it out. Because I was struggling juggling it all, I just simply dropped my hours at the job, and do 2 days a week there.
Right. Okay.
Sort of focus on property for 3, 4, 5 days a week, and that's a great balance. It keeps the variety. I think property can be a lonely world, especially when you're working on your own. It's only me in the business. But to go to an office and speak with people where they don't want something from you and you don't want something from them.
Yeah.
Your colleagues, your mates.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that fun
human interaction, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, human interaction alongside a serious business.
Yeah.
And
I think property can be lonely, kind of like you're saying. Sometimes that is the advantage of having like partners or joint venture partners and things like that, because that's worked well for me, and you can work together. You got the interaction, you can build a team together. But also on the flip side, you need to make sure it's the right person as well that you work with, because sometimes people get into bed too early with partners that they probably shouldn't, and it doesn't work out that well. So there's definitely pros and cons, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a marriage. If you
it is. Especially if you buy a property together and you've got finance and a mortgage together, it's you're in a long-term relationship, aren't you?
Yeah, because my biggest tip, if you were looking to team up with somebody to do property with, you've got to know them inside out if it's long term.
Yeah.
If it's not long term, then you can put up with not knowing them as well.
Yeah.
Because within 6, 12, 18, 24 months, you've bought, done the work and sold.
Yeah.
Moved on.
So potentially like a development you're going to sell, or like a flip or something like that. That's a shorter term relationship. Even then, it's still a little bit of time you've got to work with them. So, but worst case, like you're saying, you just get through that period. Yeah. So it's definitely getting to know them. It's understanding who they are and what their strengths and weaknesses are and things like that. If you can complement each other but have a similar mindset, I just think like mindset can be, and the way you think about and what you actually want to achieve is one of the most important things in those partnerships.
Yeah, I believe so as well. Like Henry Ford had a saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. A lot of it is mindset. You've got to be able to believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
And believe that you can work together as a team. And
if you got alignment on what you actually want to achieve, that goes a long way as well, I think.
Yeah. Have a common goal, but also have complementary skill sets.
Yeah. Differing but complementing is probably a way to put it. Have you done like the wealth dynamics profile testing, by the way?
Yeah, I've done that.
With Genius U?
Oh, yeah, must have been.
Yeah. What was your...
A lord.
Oh, you're a lord, right? I am as well, yeah. I'm on the steel side, yeah.
Yeah, so I can't remember
which is unusual for entrepreneurs and investors. Well, maybe not investors, but definitely entrepreneurs. There's not that many steel lords because detail focus, and we're not as we're not seen as creative as others, but
yeah, that's what I struggle with, I believe, is the creativity. And then they split it into 2 other things, don't they? But I can't quite remember what.
Depending how, like, because you get percentages on like the every corner, don't you? But yeah, Lord's fairly central steel, so it's It's probably not too much on the other side, but yeah, good to know. But yeah, maybe like a creator or a star or someone like that might be good to team up with, because you could have really complementing skill sets. Yeah, because you get the detail report, don't you? And it says who you can work well with and things like that. So that's another tip for people if they're looking to work with others, is do those sort of tests and work out who you can work well with.
Yeah, I'd recommend doing it. And the report you get, it's something like 20, 25 pages of quite...
It's really detailed, isn't it?
Detailed
I need to
analysis.
re-dig mine out at some point and reread it, because I did it a few years ago. But yeah.
Yeah, and I also like disc profiling.
Yeah, I did that one even longer ago, maybe like 2010 or something like that. I did that.
Yeah, and it's good. It's eye-opening, because it sort of this personality profiling, I always thought it was a bit woo-woo, but it actually knows you better than you know yourself.
Absolutely.
And you can tell that they put questions in there that are there to trip you up to see if you lied about a previous one. Or
Yeah.
So
and there's so many questions in the detail one that like you can't really, you end up with this, even when I think the second time I did it, I tried to like do it a bit more creative way and it came out with the same result somehow. So I even tried to manipulate it, it didn't work. So
yeah, love it.
yes, I don't recommend doing that, but yeah, it is. And like you read through it and you sort of nod and you're like you just agree with it all, don't you? It's weird, isn't it? It's like, yes, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah.
It tells you stuff that you'd forgotten about yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, you are so accurate.
Stop the podcast now. This episode is sponsored by Property Filter. Property Filter is the #1 property tool for today's property professional. It brings in all the data points and sources from all the property portals and auction sites into one convenient place. Then you have the option to overlay all the clever strategies found in the Property Filter blueprint to find motivated sellers faster. Now, we use it on a daily basis. It saves us over 80% of our time when looking for properties. And if that sounds like something that you want in your lives, please go to register.property-filter.co.uk/PPB, which is the discount code for this podcast. You will get 2 weeks free and a discount on your first month. That's it from me. Back to the podcast.
Excellent. Right. So also on this show, we like to talk about success and failures, because, obviously there's lots of good things we can talk about that come along the financial freedom journey, but there's also lots of challenges, especially when you're in property and property development and stuff like that. So I'd like to know, what are you most proud of, or one of your biggest successes, and then what has been one of your biggest challenges or one of your biggest failures that you've had on your journey?
It's a great question, and I don't think we celebrate the successes enough. I don't know whether that's a human thing or whether it's a British thing.
Probably both.
Yeah,
probably both.
But I'm proud of a few things. I'm fairly financially secure. I have a great family, live in a nice area. So that's sort of life successes. Business successes, I'm proud of how I've worked in a job, dropped that down to part-time and built a business alongside that.
So you sort of so you're starting off like 5 days or full time in your role with selling bricks and things like that, and then and then trying to do your property side hustle, and then over time you built it and dropped down to 2 days. You said before, didn't you? So
yeah. So really proud of that, and I'm also proud of something I'm starting to do, is offering people free mentoring calls.
Yeah.
So they can jump on a call for half an hour to an hour, however long it takes, and we can just run through some problems, whether it's about them getting out of their job or running a business alongside the job, about different strategies.
No, that is really good, because at the end of the day, things like that, take a bit of time, don't they? So you're opening yourself up. Do you get, because I have seen you post some of this on social media actually, do you get many messages back when you post things like that? Or
it's been quite good and quite a good response. Hopefully help some people on their journey. They always say, "Oh, that was brilliant, thank you very much," but that's just obviously general politeness. But I do genuinely think that I've helped some people. And it's really
even
enjoyable.
one thing you say sometimes can really make a difference to something that someone's doing.
It's amazing how I think deep down we all know what we need to do, but it's maybe that procrastination to do it, or we just need somebody else's opinion, advice.
Yeah, you want a bit of confidence, don't you? So if you're thinking something and I'm like, because I remember this a few years ago, I'm like, I think that's the right thing to do. But then you'd hear someone else say it and someone else say it, and you're like, yeah, it really is the right thing to do. Whereas if they didn't say it, you might still be going, well, I'm still not sure.
Yeah, it's getting that clarity and direction and focus. So yeah, really, really proud of that as a success. And challenge-wise, we've touched on it previously, but for me, the major challenge is finding the right people, right partners to work with, whether it's trades, whether it's contractors, whether it's investors or business partners. You've got to be really sure, and finding people that are on the same wavelength, that have the same end goal. That's been a bit of a challenge, and I'm okay. I've got a business partner with one side of one business.
And property development is really, it is a team game, and you need a team of professionals to do the work. And like you said, there's lots of different people there. And if you choose, say if you just took an example, like the wrong project manager or building contractor, or like you said, joint venture partner, they're really key people that can affect the end result. On the flip side, you pick the right one, and you're like, you can really launch yourself forward, can't you?
Yeah. It's key to find those good people, and they can just catapult your business so far forward.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to do everything on your own. So yeah, finding the right people has been a major challenge.
Yeah. Is there any specific examples you could give of something like maybe a contractor or a partner or someone that hasn't quite worked out?
Yeah. So contractor wise, that's the big one. And
very, very common around the place. So you're certainly not alone, because I know a lot of our listeners, finding a good contractor or having problems with contractors is very, very common in this space, isn't it? So.
Yeah. And I think it's partly my fault, partly their fault, but it's hard to find people that really truly care as much as what you do about the project and the successful delivery of the project.
Yeah.
And if it's not aligned, then that's where your friction can come. I remember on this one project, he was doing the work, but it was taking him a really long time, really slow.
Too slow, yeah.
And sort of finishing early, not sort of really turning up on a Monday, sort of stopping early on a Friday. And you kind of think, well, he's getting it done, but it's not as fast as what we would like.
Had you agreed up a program with him, or a date that he was supposed to finish by?
That's why it was partly my fault.
Yeah.
Because...
And not to catch you out or anything, but that is a common thing that he's maybe thinking, or his alignment's not the same because he's not clear on the expectations sometimes. So if you had that agreed time frame, or and also sometimes it's that contract's based on a full-time 5-day week, not Saturdays and Sundays or whatever. And the program you're going to finish on X date, and here's the contract. So in your mind, you're thinking he should finish by X, but he's thinking, oh, actually, I'm just going to finish by Y. So there's a bit of a misalignment there potentially, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I do hold my hands up on that front. Yeah, because
it's just a learning, isn't it? For the it's a learning at the end of the day.
Yeah, you make mistakes and you learn. That's how you learn, through making mistakes.
Yeah.
And now I make sure that there's a timeline. They know when certain milestones have got to be hit, and they know when they've got to be out. And if that means that they've got to put extra labor on because there's been a delay, or they're not doing it as quick as what they should, then they just have to get extra labor in and do it. So yeah,
because it's setting I think as a property investor or developer, it's just setting up the team, or the contractor, for success, isn't it? If you give them everything they need up front, you've agreed exactly what the scope of works is, exactly what the finished specification is, exactly what the price includes, the timeline, payment terms, all of those key things before they start on site. You've done everything you can. You've set them up for success. And then if they still don't perform at that point, you sort of know you've done what you can do in a way. The only real problem you've had is maybe just, selecting the wrong one, or maybe up front it's doing as much due diligence as you can as well. But at the same time, you can never guarantee that a contractor is going to fulfill the role, even with doing everything you can, unfortunately. But at least it sets it up for success as best as possible.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they're people as well, and we're not dealing with robots. It is a people business, but it is very important to get the spec and the expectations out early doors before you appoint them.
Yeah.
So I know the what you expect of me, and you know what to expect of
Yeah.
me. So it works both ways.
100%. Yeah. And one of the common things I hear in the small development space as well around the place is like someone will have like development finance with bridging where they can, they can draw down after a month or whatever. But that they've got a building contractor on board and he's saying, I want a 40 grand deposit before I start. And they're like, well, I don't have the funds order. So they've got a complete misalignment on day one of the build project, which by just having that discussion either in the tender process or early, you can agree those payment term principles.
Yeah.
And either that builder is saying, no, I will not do your project without a 30 grand deposit. Then you've got a cash for it. Or you're saying, unfortunately, I don't have that cash, so I can't get you on board because, I need a building contractor that can cash flow till I get the first drawdown or whatever. But either way, you sort of get out before the issue comes up.
Yeah, definitely. And talking of builders taking deposits, a lot of people say you'll never pay a builder a deposit. And I can see why they say that, but I think it's best to pay the builder a deposit because you've got to secure that slot.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be bankrolling their materials. They'll have it on accounts with the merchants and they get terms, but definitely a deposit to secure that slot.
Yeah.
And then you're starting off on the right foot.
Yeah, if you need to book them in, and it is a difficult discussion, this one, because it's like a reasonable amount, isn't it? If it's too high, you're really at a big risk if you're not paying at all. It comes down relationships, doesn't it? Like at the end of the day. So if it's a builder, that you're comfortable with and you've done a lot of due diligence from and you're paying a 10 grand, you're understanding the risk. If it's someone that you don't know, you haven't done any due diligence on, you haven't got any reference checks, you haven't seen their projects, all those sort of things, and you're chucking them 40 grand on day one, potentially very, very risky. So it's weighing up all those sort of factors, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no straight answer to it. We have really good relationships with builders that we don't pay them deposits, and it works well. So it's not necessarily right or wrong, but you just got to really weigh up the pros and cons and the risks associated, I think, don't you?
Yeah, because I like to look at everything from both points of view.
Yeah.
And I kind of think if I was a contractor and blocking out 4, 5, 6 months for this client, I need a bit of security there.
Yeah.
And
because and we're very similar because we book in slots with our source build manage program. And we take a bit of a payment up front because we know that when we get there, they're ready to go. Previously, we didn't do that, and we get to the date and people are like, oh, I don't have the funds, I can't do it. And there's no like implications, and we just lose like literally half of our month's revenue because we do 2 a month generally because that person's not ready to go. So it's a similar sort of circumstance. But then, on the flip side, if you build up a relationship with the builder and you've done a few projects with them, they know you and they trust you, then they're not worried about, booking out and then it not happening or whatever, I suppose, is the other flip side.
Yeah, completely agree with that as well.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good discussion. So the next question. So we always want to know, like, what's the best bit of advice you've ever got? Either it could be direct to you, it could be through a book or, some sort of content, something that's really like flicked the switch in your mind. What's the best bit of advice you think you've ever got?
So I've actually touched on a couple of pieces of really great advice already.
Yeah.
One of them's Warren Buffett, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful.
Yeah.
Henry Ford.
Which is a good bit to say at the moment because as we record, the stock market literally is tanked this week because of Trump's tariffs. So
yeah, so we'll see.
A bit of advice there for people to think about. Don't sell your stock, stay in the market basically, and buy more. This is not financial advice though. We just
yeah, and Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you can't.
Yeah,
right.
So it's completely a mindset thing. If you think you're not going to be able to do it, you're definitely not going to be able to do it. But if you think you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds really simple, but to have a goal and set something, if it's 100% right, isn't it?
Yeah. And one thing that I've heard recently as a common theme through speaking with many people is be consistently disciplined. So we can all do something for a short amount of time, but you become a success by keeping that discipline and doing it consistently. There's no point of saying, oh, I'm going to do this for 3 weeks and it's going to change my life. It won't. You need to pick up that phone every day for 3 years for it to make a difference. You've got to just be so disciplined consistently. That to me is a big driver.
Yeah, I know, completely agree. And I don't know where I got this quote from, but it was like consistent beats clever.
Yeah, I like that one.
Because you can have like, I think it sort of relates back to, you can have any idea in the world. You could have the best idea for a business in the world, but unless you implement it and then consistently drive it forward, you haven't done anything. There's loads of examples of business like that as well. So, and then sometimes just staying in the game, isn't it? Like property and business, you just stay in the game and you do things well over time and you keep doing them. You're going to get the results.
Yeah, and that's why I like property so much, because if you do a bad deal and keep hold of it, Father Time will look after you, and over 5, 10, 20 years, it'll pay you back so many times.
Yeah.
And if you make a bad investment in a stock and it goes to zero, you've lost it. But in all reality, your property isn't going to go to zero, and over time, it will far surpass.
Yeah, there's loads of examples I've heard of people that did bad deals in like just before the financial crisis, and they've kept them, and now the property prices are like, they've doubled.
Yeah, it's just.
Whereas if they just sold and got out of the market and said, "Fuck this property thing's no good to me. There's a financial crisis," they wouldn't have made that double the equity over, since then to now.
Yeah, realizing that it's not going to happen overnight, and Father Time looks after property very, very well.
Yeah. I think that's like anything though, is like you see like ultra wealthy people and you're like, wow, this has just happened very quickly. But you don't see that full backstory of however many years that's led to that current position. So even when people think it's like, oh, that's a get rich quick type business that's happened, it's like, yeah, but it's 20 years in the making or whatever.
Yeah, because you'll find that sort of it'll go like that.
Yeah.
And then it'll just start to take off. And that's because it compounds.
Yeah, but then the good thing about property development is that you can force the appreciation quite quickly, because you're taking something and adding value to it, and then you add the value quite quickly. But then the value that you peak out, will still keep compounding and going up over time. So you get the double whammy, I think.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, and that's why I like it. And it sounds like that's why you like it as well.
Yeah,
excellent. No, I think they're. We said one bit of advice, so I think there was maybe 3 or 4, but it's all good value stuff. So, and then we ask you to bring a question in for me today. What have you brought in?
So, my question to you, Tim: if you had to start again tomorrow with zero money,
no money, right,
and zero contacts,
right,
taken to a completely different city, how would you get started again?
Right, so different city. All right, so I'm trying to think of the scenario here. So I'm in Manchester, say. Something's gone wrong and like you said, I've bankrupted or whatever. And my team that I've got in Manchester, because of that issue is gone.
They've deserted you because you've gone bankrupt.
But
you've had to move to Nottingham.
Nottingham, right. Well, I've done a big development in Nottingham, so I kind of know Nottingham well. All right, so I'm going to Nottingham. Actually, what we do at the moment would work in Nottingham. So the question would be whether at that point I'd be working a job or just going straight into business. But I've got the same knowledge, don't I?
Yeah,
I haven't lost my knowledge. I might have, let's say I've had to fold the business in Manchester because all these catastrophes that seem to have happened that I've lost. I'm completely bankrupt and like everyone, I've got none of my contacts. So I would set up, and I'd obviously have learnings from it. So hopefully I've got really big learnings from it or whatever happened. I'm not sure about the market conditions because it's not really in the question, but let's say the market is, sort of as it is. I think I'd set up the same business or a very similar business, and I'd probably, sounds like kind of boring in a way, but if you think the way I got started in property, I live within my means. I saved up a deposit for my first house. I refurbished it, added value quite quickly. I refinanced it, raised some money, and then invested in other properties that gave me income. And then I bought another, then I sold that house and did another house with an extension and a refurb and raised more funds from that and created value. So like, I think I'd just be looking to that same sort of thing because I've got that knowledge and I know what works, and I've got all the learnings from everything there. So I would do that same sort of process, but in Nottingham.
Good. Yeah. And I think that shows that people can't take your knowledge away. They can take your money, they can take your contacts, you can be outcast, but you've still got what's up there. People can't take that.
Yeah, so I got the knowledge, I've got the model, the business model, everything we do now, and I've also got the hindsight learnings of growing the portfolio in bits and pieces like that. So hopefully I'll be able to fast track it as well. And depending what happened where I lost all my money or my contacts, I'd be really honest with people and said, these are the learnings from it, these are the mistakes, but because I've been through that, I'm the better for it, and all those sort of things. So
yeah, and I think that's key, is being being honest with people and your situation, what's happened. And people respect that more than you trying to hide it.
Yeah, because sometimes it can be, or what can be some of the issues? So it could be market related stuff. It could be like there's some sort of bad person you've been with that's like done something that's really screwed you, like fraudulent or whatever. Maybe it was partnering with the wrong person, those sort of things. So that could happen. So there's lots of different factors that could happen. You know, like even building projects, if you think back to like 2020 through to 2022, like material prices like doubled, didn't they? So like, you know, I had projects where builders went, you know, basically just folded the company or went into liquidation because, you know, they had contracts at X price and it was going to cost them more even without labor to deliver that contract. So, you know, they couldn't do it and things like that. So there's just crazy market factors like that could affect things. But, you know, I'd say in 20 years in project management, there's so many learnings that at this point, you know, I sort of have dealt with quite a few different things and a few different cycles, which helps. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, you've only got that level, that certain amount of experience and certain amount of issues that come up. So, you know, the knowledge is key and the learnings from that are absolutely key. Really good question.
Yeah.
I had to think about that a bit.
Oh yeah, it's a great answer as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So that gets us through the show. So for our listeners, if they want to get in touch with you, see what you do down in the West Midlands and everything like that, do you want to let them know how to get in touch with you and your contact details and things like that?
Yeah, sure. So you can reach out to me on the traditional social media means, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and it's Sam Bastow or Sam Bastow Property.
Yeah.
Company is called Tudorgate Homes, and my email is sam@tudorgatehomes.co.uk.
Excellent. Sounds good. So get in touch with Sam and yeah, thanks very much for coming on today and great bit of content, I think.
Thank you.
Lots of little nuggets for our listeners as well. So thanks very much.
Cheers. It's been a pleasure.
And until the next one, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you once again for joining us on the Financial Freedom Podcast, sponsored by us at Property Portfolio Building. If you want to get in touch with us about today's podcast or any of the learning topics that we've gone through today, you can email us at podcast@invest-prop.co.uk or get in touch with us with whichever your social media platform of choice is. If you think you would add value to us as a guest on this podcast, you can please get in touch and let us know what you would be able to talk to us about. Other than that, we wish you well on your financial freedom journeys. And once again, thank you for joining us and we'll see you on the next one.